Okay, so now let's go through and set up some buttons to be able to play level sequences. And we'll use these buttons here to be able to fire some off. So we are going to use the buttons, and the buttons are 11 and 12. Probably poorly named here, but that's fine. We'll just add 11 and 12. This is bothering me quite a bit, but okay, let's move down here. And the first thing that we're going to want to do is let's open up a level sequence in Sequencer and play in Sequencer. So let's call this, go back here. And we're going to want a open single property view. So these, this always takes me a second to kind of remember how these things work. So you're going to have to come along with me here. So let's get a text here and drop it down. And we are now in 6. This, and let's go name this TX play in Sequencer. Let's go play in Sequencer. And then what you want is you want a single property view. Drop this here. And if you don't know what a single property view is, I'll show you. Basically, you have to define it here, but we'll go through it. So let's jump into our graph here. And what we're going to want is we want to go in here and first we need to set the object. So let's go to our event construct. And we have our, oh, here's our single property view. Let's name that something better. Let's go play in Sequencer. And let's jump over here, grab it. Let's go set object. Actually, better from here. Set object. There we go. We want the type property view, which is great. And now this, we're just going to set this to self. And then we want to make a variable of the type that we want it to be. And in this case, we want to be able to select a level sequence and open a level sequence. So let's make a variable here. Let's call it level sequence in Sequencer. And the type is going to be level sequence. Object reference. So, and this is where you go over here, I hope. Level sequence in Sequencer. And it's smart enough to go over here and find this variable and say, okay, this is a level sequence type. I hope I did that right. And it is not showing why. Oh, that's fine. There we are. Drag it. Oh, perfect. Great. So yeah, so that's a way to kind of get this UE style menu pull down where you can pull any sort of assets. So if you were to go in here and make this like a static mesh type, you should be able to get static meshes. So static mesh here, object reference, compile. And let's run this again. And see that now you can pull static meshes in. Again, this took me a hot minute to kind of figure out what it's doing. But as long as you create a variable to store it into, and it'll be that type. Let's put this back to level sequence. Great. So now that we have our level sequence and it's set, let's go set up some logic here on how to open and play a sequence. So here, basically when we hit these buttons, remember when you hit one, it's either 1 or 127. So 127 when it's pressed, and then 1 when you release it. So we can just say, okay, any value over 1, and we can play it. So let's go here, set this to 1. All the way down here. And we need a branch for our condition. And this was, what was it? Let's go with 12. Let's go with 11. And then here, let's go open level sequence. Grab our little sequence that we make here, and we just hit play. Compile. Okay, let's go over and see if it plays. So now if we run the editor, connect our Midi device, I've just got this little level sequence here of a sphere kind of going. Let's capture it and let's see. Great. So now this will transact over multi-user. If you look at, there's these buttons here. So if you're in a multi-user session, then these will show up. So you can have a look at these in the docs and see, which ones pertain to you. But if you have them clicked on, then this will transact over a multi-user session. So now let's go back and I can show you how to play a sequence outside of the level sequencer. It won't transact over multi-user, but what's nice is you can play more than one at the same time. So let's go back in here. And we will need to make another property view. There we go. So that's 7. This will be 8. And this will be 9. Let's call this play in editor. There we go. Let's call this play in. Back here, we can copy and paste. Name this play in editor. And we need to set it. Bring it back in. Set that. There we go. Let's go down and do some logic here. So out of 12, what we can do is it'll be the same, kind of the same thing. So for the button push, the condition will be whether or not it's greater than 1. And we're going to go, and we're going to have this be 12 right there. There we go. And then now we want to create a level sequence player and get our play in editor level sequence. And then we want to play sequence player. And the target will be this coming out here. All right, so let's compile. All right, so let's go over here and see if it plays. So we'll run this, set our Midi device, run our local sequence, and then let's hit, there we go. And what's nice is, you can hit this a million times and get the same level sequence a million times. But again, this won't transact over multi-user. So the last thing that we're going to do is, let's say that you want to give the user the ability to update the stuff, add a Midi device, change Midi devices. without having to reboot the level or reboot the tool. So we'll add a little remove and refresh button at the top here. So let's go back here and let's get a button, and we'll add it here at the top. Nope. There we go. And we'll call this button reset MIDI, and let's go here. Now we're gonna have to move everything down. So this will be 1, this will be 2. Let's get some text so we can name it. Drag this, put it right onto the button, and then we'll call this text, let's see here, let's call it reset MIDI device. Okay. MIDI. Okay, great. Now on the button itself, there is this event called onClicked. So let's click that, and we'll go set up our button logic here. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to go back and unbind everything. So we'll call the unbind custom event that we had here. And then we're going to want to clear the options here from our pull down menu, because we're going to want to kind of get a new list and refresh everything. So let's get our checkbox menu devices, or our combo box menu devices, and let's go clear options. So that'll clear out that list, and then we can rebuild that list. So with our custom events that we've made. So let's find the connected MIDI devices, and then we will populate the combo box again, the MIDI combo box. So if you've added any device, instead of having to reboot the tool, you can just hit this button. So let's see, let's go reset button, and let's compile. Now if you go up here, and let's just say that we've set a bunch of stuff. Now you can reset, and it'll reset your MIDI devices, and this will update, and you can pick another one and reset, and update, and pick another one and reset. There you go. That's just a quick tutorial on edit utility widgets and the MIDI blueprint library and the engine. I know I kind of went around and coded things a few different ways, and I kind of did that on purpose just to show that you can do things multiple ways in the engine. But yeah, I didn't necessarily adhere to any one coding standard. But hopefully it's helpful, and hopefully it's just a nice intro into MIDI, and you can kind of take this tool and build upon it for however it fits your virtual production needs.